And we are live by the looks of it. Alrighty. Uh,
Uh-oh. We're live?
Hey,
We're
hey
live?
guys.
We're live?
we are live. What's up,
Oh,
Matt?
we got Matt Trim in the happy house! Well, buddy,
Yeah, hey,
it's
okay,
been a
so just
while.
do some time. Yeah, I only got about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what? Yeah, I know you're all short on time, so basically, so why we kind of wanted to do this is for everybody who don't know, one of the OGs of CG and indie comics unfortunately passed away a little over a year ago, and we want to drink some shots, simulated shots, not real ones, but and then get people to come on and talk to them, tell us your memory about meeting our friend Sean Campbell.
Yep. Because worst part of it is like none of us knew it had happened until like I had friended his Facebook account and his sister posted that he had passed and how much she missed him, and like this was like 2 weeks ago, and it like was a huge shock. I was
Yeah.
not expecting that.
And I know, like, and Matt, and I know you and I were briefly talking, and I know Brian said the same thing. Every single one of us, we all thought he was under the NDA still, which is why he kind of, and I knew he was kind of getting pissed off about the way the direction of indie comics was going, you know. So yeah, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, so I Sean was actually one of my earlier followers on Twitter back when I had under 100. So that tells you how supportive he was about with indie comics. He would support those that did know a whole lot about.
Yeah.
And he was always very kind, very optimistic, but even he got how things are going with indie comics. One conversation I had with him, he just brought up suddenly, "Are we still friends?" And I didn't know what to make of that. I said, "Of course," and he just didn't know who was. I guess at that point he was just really concerned about who would be
Guys,
a friend and who would be.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
realized I forgot to unmute like the desktop. It was just me. I'm so sorry. I just realized that. I was looking at OBS. I was like, wait a second. Y'all are muted. My bad. Matt, please restart.
Okay, so yeah, yeah, so I first met Sean, or not in a loose sense, it was on Twitter. Back when I was under 100, had 100 followers on. I think he was follower number 81 or something like that. But very kind man, very optimistic, very supportive. Although I can't say that I think there was one conversation I had with him where it just seemed like I could feel his frustration for something when he has to hear still friends. One of those things that I could believe. I would still be friends with him. He's done nothing to me, or anything like that. But that's how things unfortunately are in the comics these days.
Yeah, and I think he was him like Tim Lim and Doug Ernst and you guys were some of the early victims of War Campaign. And I think that's why Sean was so kind of upset because he's one of the most nice, like you said, he's one of the most nicest guys in the world. Very supportive of indie comics. Very like you know, I mean, how many streams he would come on with Meeting of the Minds with you guys, you know, between you, Dan, and Brett, and you know, and he would always be there to give you support, give you encouragement, and stuff like that. And he was one, like I said, when the first Ferryman came out, like he got blasted by War Campaign, and I know that really hurt him big time.
Yeah.
Well,
And then it had. It's. I think it's also maybe. What?
I was also gonna say let's not forget, you know, when he would give everyone in our group his comic. Like that's how I ended up with it. Y'all were talking about it. Like one of the first conversations I had with you, Matt, was actually about how Ferryman was so awesome. Like y'all were talking in those early conversations. The 3 books all of you were definitely talking about all the time was Rags, Ferryman, and frickin' Wanpool. The first one.
Yeah. It's, I don't want Brian to take this the wrong way, but it sucks that only Ranch is the only Thomas that thing going to get completed now. No, nothing against Brian, but I would love to see the Ferryman continue on.
Yeah. You know, and finding out, and I don't know if you guys got to watch the video, you know, finding out that, like, the night he died, he had finished the 3rd issue.
Yeah.
Like,
so like, that was like a kick in the nuts. And it's like, it was like, it hurts as a creator, and I know you guys feel this too. It's when you have that passion thing, you don't want to give it up. And unfortunately, you know, I pray we see him, you know, when we go to meet the good Lord up in the air. You know, I pray Sean's there with us because, you know, one of the most, again, one of the most nicest guys in the world, you know.
definitely.
Yeah.
Always tried to help everyone, always tried to give everyone a good, you know, positive attitude, so on and so forth. And
he you know what? The big thing that always remembered me about Sean was he welcomed criticism. He you know, some people don't like criticism. He was always willing to, you know, he was willing to take criticism, and you notice that change between issue 1 and issue 2 of Ferryman. He took a lot of those criticisms and he fixed them. That 2nd issue was just great.
like, I never got to read the 2nd issue, unfortunately, but that's just me.
I'll look up my files, see if I got a digital copy to send you.
Yeah, I'd have to look back through, you know, where mine is too. Like, I know I lost my hard drive, so I might have lost it.
I know,
you know,
I lost my digital copy of the first one that he gave me, and it's kind of like a real kick in the boy bags, because that's another thing. I was planning on getting him, and I was like, oh, I know I'll get my opportunity when, you know, the next campaign happens, and then all of a sudden, he dropped off the face of the earth, and come to find out, oh yeah, no, it's
yeah, give me a.
Yeah, we found out, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know, but you know, you know, that's when you real. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. Like lately, like seeing, you know, friends and family passing and stuff like that has kind of definitely, you know, like been that thing that says, yeah, life is very, very short, big time.
Oh yeah, especially when they're around your age as well.
Well, and that was like, I was even explaining this to Doug, like, when I was letting him know what was going on tonight, because he was asking me if he was going to be needed for this, and I was like, no, you never got to meet Sean. It would be really weird. Like, I'm not going to put you in that situation, because and so on and so forth, but I explained it was like, part of the reason why this is such a big hit in the boy bags is because Sean was literally my age. Like, literally. And
Yeah, because he was a little bit younger. He was a little bit younger than I am because out of the original group, besides Jimmy, I was the second oldest.
Yeah,
You
well,
know, in terms of the group.
yep.
Let's see here.
And let's be honest, one of the big issues that
Oh, I do have both of them. So
nice.
yeah. So okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, sup,
Yeah.
sup, Marty. We got Marty in the chat.
Hey, Marty.
But
Hey.
yeah, no, dude. Like that's the big thing. Like when people talk about the ferryman, they always talked about how nice and approachable Sean was, and how he was always trying to give everyone like positive feedback, even if it wasn't necessarily the best that you had done. He tried to word it in a way that didn't sound mean.
So I'm gonna bring it up here. Hopefully, I can display it here.
Alrighty, let me do.
Unfortunately, guys, I'll have to go.
Okay.
No,
Well,
no worries.
I'm
Thanks
just using to listen.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by, Matt. Appreciate it. Matt,
No problem.
Matt Trin, one of our really good longtime friends here
Yep.
in the indie comic scene. If you guys get a chance, please go support the Mythoverse.
Yes.
Matt,
And if you could, especially pick up, issue 2 that has yours truly at the beginning. I'm just saying.
Oh, let's tell me more about Jones.
yeah. And Matt, besides the Mythoverse, Matt also has the McKinnon Chronicles, which is
Yeah.
another great series that he's
It
creating.
really is. Like, if you want to find out a bit more about that, you can find in my shorts the 60-second comic review on the McKinnon Chronicles.
Nice. Matt, before you go, where can people follow you, sir?
They can follow me on @MattTrend on Twitter and the Mythos YouTube channel.
Okay. Yeah, and I know you guys still do your podcast, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a little irregular on what day it's going to be on, but usually good.
Okay. And I know you guys been doing it for a while, so you guys definitely have a nice, good back catalog for people to listen to and stuff like that. So, and I know you guys also have a Discord, so if you guys are interested, hit up Matt and see if you guys can join the Discord. Tell you guys won't be disappointed. They do a lot of interacting with fans and other indie creators. So, and Matt, actually, Matt, when did we meet you? What, 2018?
Yeah, about that.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Same time as Bond.
Yep.
yeah. Yep.
But,
So.
alrighty, but let's
definitely.
let Matt go. He's got to get back to work.
All right, Matt. Have a good one, sir.
Yeah, you too.
One of the great things is, and this is something I wanted to show. What made me fell in love with this series, this cover was banging. Like, for me, like, one of the great things was, like, seeing somebody definitely had some balls to do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're seeing. Sorry, my screen's kind of acting a little wonky.
We saw that. But no, dude, and like the art was solid, like everything, like it was a unique concept, like
Yep.
finding out a way to digitize the soul. Like on the one hand, it's like the thought of the like, especially in today's day and age where we talk like when certain people talk about how we live in a society that's been taken over by demons and how they're constantly trying to get your soul. Well, what better way for them to get your soul than to digitize it? Well, trust me, when this happens, when the demons, the fifth dimensional aliens come for you, this is how it's going to be. And Sean saw it. He was a man with a vision.
The thing is, I mean, the concept isn't. The concept isn't new because they kind of did it in the Matrix and stuff like that. But I think what Sean did with the whole concept behind digitizing the soul, he brought in a lot of. I mean, I know the Matrix has some kind of religious
No. Think about
aspect.
it. In the Matrix, if you were dead, you were dead. Like, there was no living on in the Matrix. And
Yeah.
the whole point of the ferryman was you were dead IRL but lived on in this digital, like, heaven.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I really wish we could have seen where that third issue went, because Miles was a great character. First off, I think he was a great character. Now I did the first review of the comic. I actually did. I got an early copy of the Ferryman, and Sean let me review it. I actually had it on the original Sportman channel. I'm probably gonna re-upload it, but I do have to kind of create a new bumper for it, because since I'm no longer part of Sportman Studios, unless you guys want me just to upload it the way it is. But I did. There were the art was good. There were some perspective issues that I had with it, like in certain shots. But there were some scenes that were kind of inconsistent. But overall, I definitely gave like the art like the actual review of like the story. The story was a strong point. The art was kind of more the weaker point, but I think overall it's still the art worked for the story.
Well, and let's be honest, one of the big things about the book was the fact that it was very narrative driven, and he tried to make sure, because one of the things that he understood that I feel like he learned from the golden era of comics, up through the Edgelord era and everything, was the best stories showed, not told. And he always, one of the things that he did, take, for instance, what you're seeing there with the panel. Let me see if I can get the cursor to show up. Yep, right here with the panel, and, where you're seeing the brochure and everything. There's a lot going on in the panel, which is something like Todd McFarlane points out. He said, make sure to always have, every shot be dynamic. Every shot be interesting. And Sean understood that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's where, and he was able to give that, I would say, a lot of that, and the artist was able to pull that out, too. Because that's a big thing, is to have, Sean was able to do it, and I don't know what Sean's script looked like, in terms of, did he have the panels worked out too? Because some script writers, they'll write what the panel looks like out. Like Brian. Brian will tell you how he wants the angles in his scripts and stuff like that for the paging. So I don't know if Sean did that or not. But needless to say, that's one of the great things is of this series. It's we not only on top of that, but Sean did a lot of world building and a lot of establishment shots and stuff like that, that are very needed to establish the type of world you have.
Well, and that's the big thing. A good writer knows how to establish lore on the fly to let the reader know what's going on while at the same time progressing the story. That is something that good writers have always known how to do, and the biggest problem has most people often have is pacing, but Sean understood how to properly do the pacing. Read the Ferryman. And another thing, I think it was Weaponized Nerd Rage who made the comment how he hated the fact that a lot of these indie, or not indie, but a lot of these mainstream comics like DC and whatnot, he was specifically talking about a DC book, will have these big overarching stories, which means they'll have issues out that are pure filler and nothing happens. Yeah. Sean understood, don't do that. Even if you're doing an overarching story, make sure to have something happen in the issue.
Yeah. And so, and I'll be honest with you. There was a comic recently that I read. It had a really good premise, and I really enjoyed it, but it felt like a zero issue because not much happened.
And
in the comic. and me and Sarah Nova, we were talking about it. Like it had a very good premise, but when you may have the best premise in the world, but if you're not if you're not having a lot going on, there's only so much talky you can do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show, and like we said, it is definitely where
It's a trap that a lot of writers fall into. Because it's
yes.
an easy trap to fall into. Because, a lot of people don't really realize the value, especially in a medium like comics, of just letting the images tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying do the copy paste bit like a lot of writers tend to, like a lot of artists and writers tend to do to pad out the bit. Like,
Yeah.
like
For sure.
no, like actually tell a story through the panels without having any like real dialogue. Because that is the essence of comics, and I feel like Sean understood that.
Yeah.
He
I
understood
saw.
the
I'll
soul.
be. I'll be honest with you. I saw in Sean's writing, definitely with the Ferryman. I saw a lot of early how Image used to be early on. You know, in their writing and stuff like that. And I saw that early. Throughout the Ferryman, I definitely saw because you look at McFarlane, you look at some of the other guys, and that's what they did. They showed, they just didn't let like fluff basically tell the story. You know what I mean? Fluff it and then pad it out and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
And I think when dealing with indies, that I think honestly, dude, I don't think Sean would have thrived in the mainstream realm. I think he would have done best in the indies had he been able to do more. I think he would have found himself within a decade like having a nice home doing steady work in indies and no one will complain.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
I and unfortunately, sadly, I would have loved to also see what he was doing with whatever this script he was writing for the game. I know he was under the NDA. He couldn't talk about it and stuff like that. And so I definitely I think that we lost a guy who like Dwayne McDuffie, like Denny O'Neil, uh, you know, who was a master craft storyteller.
yep. And
And
that's going
go ahead.
that's always something hard to replace. It's always something hard to find. And so when you find it and then it gets taken too early, it's kind of like a serious kick in the boy bags. A serious kick in the balls.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that's the sad thing is when that does happen. Life is short, and this is why even though I'm not doing comics right now, I'm just working on getting the stuff cleaned up for Spearhead and stuff like that, and trying to get this stuff so I can get the campaign fulfilled. And I'm not, I did start writing again.
Nice.
I wrote, I actually stepped away from, I started Ultra Girl, who is my Wonder Woman inspired superhero. But she actually, so her armor, she will actually have, the Centurion that pierced Christ
Uh-huh.
side. And you know how the blood spilled on him and stuff like that?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm going to have it where that imbued the armor with abilities.
Nice. But only if the
So,
weather's worthy or something like that, because
yes. So like she actually she basically, so what's happening is the villain is going to be Lilith, because it's going to kind of tie into the chaos universe. Basically Lilith basically is trying to get the armor because she's hoping that they can use it for evil purposes, and So anyhow, yeah. So basically, what's happening is the story opens up, and she's working in Israel trying to find where the centurion was built buried and stuff like that. Now I'm gonna put my own spin on it. I'm definitely gonna have it where he became a believer and stuff like that. But where I'm making it is like Christ's blood imbued the armor with not healing. Well, if she wears it, it will keep her healed.
Mm.
But it's going to be almost kind of like how Paul talks about the shield of faith or the breastplate of faith or shield of righteousness and stuff like that. It's going to be basically like it will grant her like super strength and stuff like that. Now she isn't going to be able to fly, but she'll be able to jump pretty far and she'll be able to take punches.
She'll
and
have
stuff
like
like
the
that.
strength of Samson and things like that.
Yeah, basically, almost like Wonder Woman, but she is going to be in Roman gear and
But
stuff like that.
almost
But
like
she's
Wonder
also
Woman.
going
But
to,
hold on. Remember, the most pagan thing you could ever do is become Catholic.
but that's,
Come on, I'm not wrong. Like, yeah, no. I hit my boss with that.
Yeah, I mean, we still, I mean, Christians still, even Protestants still realize that the centurion was, because, he did say, truly this man is the Son of God. So he realized that Christ was who he was. So, but, so I'm still using that. I'm just putting my own spin. It's not going to be
No. I'm just
the Protestant Catholic thing and stuff like that. But yeah, so basically, it's a race between her team and Lola's team to try to find the armor and stuff like that.
Nice.
So, yeah, and I actually have it where like Lilith's whole army is going to be basically demon possessed humans and stuff like that.
Nice.
She's gonna have like her own paramilitary force and stuff like that. Yeah. So I started working on that. Started cleaning up a little bit more story on Bolt's story. So yeah, just getting. I'm not doing any drastic writing, but just getting, just like some outline stuff, just working in my head, like how I want things to go through and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's like it is just it's
a process.
Kind of yeah, it's a process, but also it's kind of getting me back into what I love to do is the whole creation thing. And I know you love art, doing art and stuff like that, but writing is a way for me to get out a lot of stuff, and I definitely see it. With Sean, you can definitely tell even with the his story, The Ferryman. I guarantee you there was probably some personal things that he was even working through in the story, because like one of the big things about that I loved in The Ferryman was a lot of the religious consequences of having this device installed in him.
Yeah, because think about it. You're literally, instead of going where you should go, you're being removed from the process, if you will.
Yeah.
Like,
you get it.
Think about that. What happens the minute that server goes down? You're trapped in basically perpetual purgatory.
Yeah, and there's a series called Pantheon that kind of explores the same thing, where they kind of digitize the soul in a way. It's an 16 episode TV series where like these different people are digitized, but what it does is it actually, instead of where the person lives on Earth and stuff like that, they're stuck in this environment. They can't leave the servers and stuff like that. But they basically on the servers they become like gods and stuff like that. So yeah, so like that, and that's the thing is I like stuff that it is one of those things. What will transhumanism do to us as like what is that next step?
Dude,
you know what I mean?
And it annoys me, like, the you asked that, like, as someone who, like, the best way to put it, I'm having, the thing, right, muscles called the lats, right? Like, the ones on your back that wrap around your side up to your pecs?
Okay.
I'm starting to have those. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I flex and I have wings almost. You know what I mean? Type deal. But that transhumanism removes all of that. Like, the whole, like, philosophical, more like, you know, Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, the whole idea of working out. I mean, well, I think it was the Socrates, I think. Socrates or Plato that said, I weep for men who do not know the beauty of the strength that their body can hold, or something like that. Like, it really was this thought of look at what you can do if only you work out and try to get healthy and don't like one of my favorite memes is of the caveman and he's in a gym. Lift heavy stone, make sad head voice go quiet, man. And like that transhumanism removes that, if you will, drive to put in the work and to build yourself up to be both sculptor and marble. Because
Yeah.
why? You can just get some implant and then everything you need has already been taken care of. And
Hey, we got hot-headed.
what I had, but
Haven't seen you.
and Sean understood that this is a question. He understood 5 years ago that this was a question that needed to be asked.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, and that's the thing is, I think that the question has to be explored. And I think this is why I love comics. Like this is one of the great things about comics. We get to explore these kind of ideas. Like for instance, like one of my favorite comics, Rick Remender did Low, and this was this concept of basically what humans have to do if once the sun starts expanding out and basically can't live on the surface, they have to live underwater
Well,
because that's the
even
only thing
that's not gonna like.
protecting them from the radiation. So it's like, well, how do humans have to evolve in order to live in that type of environment?
Want to know what's funny? If I remember right, the models put the sun expanding pretty much up to where Earth becomes like Mercury. Mercury and Venus both get engulfed by the sun, and we will be the new Mercury. And the closest planet, if it was suitable, would be like I think that Jupiter would be in the Goldilocks zone. I think is the next one.
They were talking like Enceladus, I think, like Enceladus or whatever one of the moons are.
Yes, but it would we would no longer Earth will be too close to the sun to
Yeah.
even have water. Like it is going to be pure. Like okay, so anyone who saw the episode of Futurama where they go forward in time continuously and they get to where the Earth can no longer support life. What's funny about that is they're walking on literally a planet that should be on fire because the sun will have expanded to where it's practically like I said, Earth is like Mercury.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is there's a reason why this channel is called a Nerd Number 30, folks. I'm just saying.
you know, but coming back to and this is one of the great things that the comic medium and even game, the games and comic medium get to really allow people to explore ideas in a way that you can't with movies.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean movies, because movies, one, you're dealing with practical effects and the cost and stuff like that. Whereas comics, comics more so than say gaming, because games are starting to get expensive. But for an inexpensive media, comic allows you to explore, those ideas.
Oh yeah, because you're only limited by that of your artist's imagination, or your own, really. Like, because it is a collaborative medium.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there really is no. I mean, and if you see with Sean's stuff, what also helped with is Sean got a great letterer. Taylor Esposito is probably one of the best letterers in the game. I
Yeah.
would say him and Eric Weather are probably like some of the best letterers in the game.
Until you get into the fact that he was a extreme far leftist that
Yes,
was
I know. I know. I'm
there's a
just
reason
talking
why he
about.
didn't had no like Sean I feel made the right move when he said he will not be returning in issue 2 because Sean didn't need that negativity
Right.
on his
No,
campaign.
I agree. I agree completely. You know, so
Hothead ain't lying
let's.
there. Games are expensive and getting more boring. Facts. Pal World is amazing because it was made by like what, 10 dudes? No, 5 dudes and $10,000 budget.
I think I think for me, it's not all games. It is primarily mostly AAA games.
Facts.
I mean, come on, man, dude. They go back to remaster Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, and it makes over $2 million.
And think about it. That's all it made. 10 years ago, if they said they're going back and remaking Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, that thing would have made like literally bang loads of money. But
No,
because
well, no, I'm talking, but for a remaster, $2
yeah,
million is really good.
dude, it would have made way more though because of the fact that it would have. The big reason why it didn't really make as much as it could have is because of the fact that a lot of gamers literally they looked at that and went, they're going to have one thing or another be woke, and it. Like, for instance, Nexus Mod took down the mod that removed the warning about the fact that the game was made in a different era and they decided to keep it the same, even though they disagree. That right there, nope. Gamers are tired of that.
Yeah.
And once again, like, that is something that is part of what's killing, gaming, is those, companies that do that. And that's what made people like Sean indispensable because he was willing to do his own thing and didn't care what the big boys, if you will, were telling him he should be caring about.
Yeah. Like the other person who I think was very similar to Sean is Aaron Sparrow. Like those two guys, like I see them a lot alike in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And Aaron does Darkwing Duck, or did anyway.
Yep.
And what's funny, after the Aaron Sparrow run, apparently everyone who followed the comics pretty much all agreed. The end of his run is where the fan, quote unquote, end is. Where they say it ends, because whoever took it up after him just ran the comic into the ground.
Yeah, so Hothead says he didn't see the disclaimer on the Switch though. I believe that they did a patch. That because I'm trying to think here. I do believe that they removed I think they ended up removing it.
Because of the old exit mod bitches.
Yeah.
The Streisand effect, basically. Like, because they tried to bury it, like, it caused that more people to be like, well, then I don't want the game, because I really don't need this, like, I'm playing this game because I loved these things about the original, and you're calling me wrong for liking it.
Yeah, give me a second here.
Yeah. Well, it might also be because Nintendo's like, fuck you guys, you're not dragging us into your bullshit. And Nintendo will do that in a heartbeat without even a second thought.
Yeah, I know, like, the Nexus mods and all those guys that are removing this stuff, I guarantee you that stuff's alive on Twitter. or on Discord and stuff like that.
Oh, of course, as long as, they best way I can put it. As long as they like they can get the mod and understand how to install it and everything. And but the problem is, it's Nexus mod should not be. See, Nexus mod got like every other fucking mod site got infiltrated by people who had political agendas and ruined the space. And what's sad is these are the like once again to take it back to Sean, he understood that these people were ruining the space of comics, and instead of complaining about it, what did he do? He did something about it. And we had Ferryman 1 and 2, and we would have had 3 if, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a shame. Like Hothead never got to meet. Some people did get to meet him because he was, was just fantastic dude. Fantastic dude.
It
We had a lot of fun. I mean, I think like the like we actually the early indie scene we had. There was Troy. Unfortunately, he's out. We'll never get the third one pool.
Oh, so it's official. He's out.
Yeah, he's not doing comics anymore. As far as I understand. So we're probably not going to get a third one pool. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Josh. I mean, I see stuff every once in a while, but nothing has really come out.
He's also had a family. Like he's still working on
Yeah.
Pineapple Pizza Man, but he's been taking care of his family.
Oh, I had said he had heard of Sean in early CG. Nice.
Okay. Nice. Like, but
yeah, and then we of course then the whole fiasco with Slick Jimmy. I mean that it was and that actually all happened at the same time that the stuff happened with Sean.
Nope. Like Sean died in 2022 in August or October, I mean. And Slick had died or not died, but got arrested in like 2020, like 2020, 2021.
Okay. I thought it was before. I thought it was like. Okay, I thought it was 2022 he got arrested.
No. Like.
Okay.
And the sad thing is, part of me wants to like. I don't know. Part of me wants to know how long he's in prison for, like just out of random curiosity. But
he probably got 30 years.
Right. But like my whole thing is though, like I kind of feel like that whole situation with him is part of why Sean kind of stopped really hanging out with a lot of people because that hit Sean a little hard.
Yeah, well, and I think that was creeping Sean out. Because Sean did have I think his daughter was relatively young.
Mm-hmm.
He had it because I know he had I think 2 daughters or something like that.
I don't remember. All I know is Sean was, even if like my whole thing is he was a kind soul either way, and that's not something that he would want to be associated with or have like or be around people who are associated with it. And let's be honest, a lot of us, I do believe that whole situation really did hurt a lot of us when that came out that was associated with him, because a lot of people were like, well, how many of y'all knew, even though none of us knew.
Yeah.
David is, I think it's David Asano's or something like that. Like it took him forever to get any work after that because of how many people. Same thing with Whiskey Paint, his artist, because of how many people don't want to associate with them just because they were associated with Slick.
Yeah, and I mean it's sad. I mean the character was over 18, but there was a lot of. There was a lot of cheesecake and stuff like that,
and when you kind of find out that whole situation and whatnot, like, everyone was on board, and then everyone went, wait a second, afterwards. Like, when that came out, everyone went, wait, what? So...
Well, and and I think also that, of course, the death of his mom kind of set him in a downward spiral too.
Yeah. But
So
either way, but
yeah,
we're not making excuses for him. But that's why I think a lot of that is why Sean kind of started just flying his own path. And you know what? That's
yeah,
fine. I don't fault Sean for that at all. He still kept in contact with us, and it's funny because, like, you look at his last tweet, it's him playing a game with friends or something like that, and he said they lost their healer, and I kind of feel like that yeah, I kind of feel like so did we.
yeah, yeah. I don't know Hothead, unfortunately, if he is still doing any work. I have not seen any posts from him. I mean, I do follow him. He was on Twitter for a bit, but like then I think he disappeared, and it might.
Matt Otis Stein, Matt Bailey.
Yeah,
He, I think, has Whiskey Paint do stuff every now and then, but yeah, and it's mainly because he's like, his exact words were, just because of what happened with Slick doesn't mean Whiskey Paint should be kind of 86th. And
right. I agree because when you don't know,
well,
um,
and here's the thing. Isn't there somebody who just got outed that was running with EVS and his group that ended up
yeah,
like a couple people actually that just got outed that he was running with in like his live streams and whatnot, and it's like, it's not like, the best way I could put it, those people use people like us because we're
yeah,
fans of the actual medium, and they're trying to use us as cover. Pure and simple. Are they
yeah,
somewhat fans? Yes, but are they also using us as a way to, well, yeah, that too.
yeah,
And unfortunately, that's with anything. Are there people that get into, for instance, like making movies for that reason? Yes. Are there people that get into doing theater for that reason? Yes. Are there people that there are people that got busted doing that worked at like literally Disneyland or Disney World, whichever the one that's in Florida, because that gave them the ability to do that. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna fault or put that blame.
Yeah, you're not gonna fault Disney. You're not gonna fault Disney World for that because they're not expecting that there are going to be creeps and
Yes.
sick people out there.
So I'm not gonna fault TVS for that happening, and I don't expect anyone no one should fault us, Whiskey Paint, or the Son of Witch for having had someone that we didn't know was like that in our group.
Yeah, it's one thing if they knew.
Yeah.
Now, who was the one who was like friends with him?
I thought that was the Son of Witch. That's what I was talking about.
No, there was another guy.
Oh.
He usually did all the streams with him and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
yeah,
like David or Bob, some other Son of Witch. Like I don't remember like the actual name. I never really I didn't follow him or anything. But no. But that's the point. It's like, but Sean being the type of person he was, it didn't really matter. He just did not want to be around somebody like that at all. And that was, to me, that's one of the best things about him. And that's why, fuck, man. He was one of those people that, you could tell, the whole reason why his comic even, there doesn't have any swear words. He kept the gore down to a minimum. It was obviously meant to be able to be read by kids.
Yep. Yeah, it's very. I mean, you could tell it's got the '90s edge in it, but it also had a lot of Silver Age and Golden Age elements brought into it.
Yeah.
To keep it. Like we did with Sportman. Like there was no swearing or anything like that. We try to keep all that stuff out of. That. While I think what we do have, like for instance, if you look at this page right here, I mean, Sean had a suicide literally right here. He was still able to tell what happened through the medium. You know what I mean? And that's a hallmark of a great writer when they can have it what they're conveying all through this just the pages.
Mm-hmm. Like, very little words, like, you know what he just did. You know. Because the context of what's going on. And it's like, that was one of the things Sean could do well. He could give context without saying much, while at the same time giving the right pizzazz to the story.
So, to answer Hothead's question, he says, do you guys think comics still should be for kids? Yes and no. I think comics can be a medium told to any age, but the primary focus should be kids.
Yes. As I have stated time and again, I would rather go back to these being stories of colorfully clad heroes and villains, men and women, fighting in a never-ending battle of good versus evil. It doesn't have to be Shakespeare, because it's not meant to be Shakespeare. It's meant to be light-hearted and fun. It's literally meant to be, oh, curse you, villain! You have poisoned the water supply! That is because I am evil, for no other reason because I can be. Like, that's what comics should really be, and it should be goofy and fun, and it should have...
I don't think it should be, that should be the main, I think it depends on the story being told. So, like, I think, is there room for adult comics? 100%.
Yes, but
100%.
Not every comic has to be adult.
No, yeah, and I agree. And I think, to me, that's where I think, I think that's where we have lost that element, in my opinion, that while we have this YA, there's a big reason why YA is kicking the shit out of mainstream comics, because there's stuff written for kids, and whereas the mainstream characters like, DC and Marvel, they kind of understand it, but they still don't fully understand it. I mean, there's a big reason why Scholastic is kicking the shit out of them.
Because Scholastic understands that these are stories for kids at the heart of them. Look, I love my Batman stories, don't get me wrong, but Batman only works, truly, honestly works, when at the core of his character, he's meant to be a story for kids.
Yeah.
Alright?
Yeah.
When you try to make him a character for adults and you try to make him hyper-realistic, it ruins what makes the characters work. Alright?
I don't know if that's 100% true. I think there is a room for the dark and brooding Batman and stuff like that, because the Dark Knight, I mean, you look at the Dark Knight.
Yes, I understand that. But my big thing is, if I have to sacrifice my dark and broody Batman so I can actually have a Batman that actually is Batman and not this edgelord, almost in a lot of ways, I guess you could say, I feel like modern Batman would throw out his no-killing rule in a heartbeat just because, well, this reason or that reason or, whatever. Like, instead of it being, oh, well, we're having a Batman the Animated Series. They did a dark and brooding Batman while at the same time keeping it for kids. Like, that's the point. Like, they understood how to do both without removing without ruining the character, without going hard in one way or the other. And once again, to tie this back to Sean, that's exactly what he understood with his stories. You can do both. You can do the, story that has a very serious, very mature theme, while at the
Mhm.
same time maintaining the proper, I guess you could say, while maintaining that this is meant to be for kids at the same time.
Yeah. So Hothead says, I figured this wouldn't be a black or white discussion, but this is giving me a lot to think about. So yeah. So like, Bob and I do that. This is where I think Bob and I do differ on. This is one of the great things Bob and I have in terms of our Discord. Like, I know Bob is for like the Comics Code to come back.
Yep, bring back the Comics Code Authority, 100%. I want to see books with the Comic Code Authority on their cover. That to me, because that right there, I think that would help in comics 100% because you would think about it, dude. You're putting constraints on what they can write about. And sometimes when you're trying to write something that you want to actually tell a story, like a real story, constraints are what you need. Do you think, like, just because, like, for instance, Stephen King gets all the liberty to write whatever he wants, well, yeah, but that also is why a lot of people call Stephen King a pretentious douchebag because of the fact that he does tend to write stories that, like, take, for instance, the story of It. Like, and then look at how he is on Twitter and the things he talks about supporting and things like that. They conflict. But
Marty says too much edgelord stuff can make a story go from dark to grim derp.
yep, facts. And that literally basically what I'm saying. Stephen King
Yeah.
is grimderp. Comic like Batman the Animated Series was dark and gritty while at the same time still good and was, for kids.
Yeah, so like I really like, and Bob and I do differ on this, but there's a place for the Comics Code, in my opinion. You should have there because the underground, a lot of people think that all comics were under the Comic Code. No, there used to be an existing underground
Yeah, and guess what?
comics.
Indie comics don't have to have the Comics Code Authority, but at the same time, parents also know that that book is not held to the standards that would make it safe for children.
Yeah,
That's the
because
point of the Comics Code Authority, to let parents know that this book follows guidelines that they know falls within their values, their morals, and the book is safe for them to give to their children.
yeah. One of the great things is why you had the Comics Code at the same time. You had EC Paris doing Vampirella, you had EC doing, Erie and, Creep Show.
Dude,
And
you had adult comics, literal comics that had nudity and so on and so forth all the way back in the 60s. All right?
Yeah.
So, you had a market for that, but it was not available in a way that could get into the hands of kids easily.
Yeah, you had to go really. You were either going to the comic book shop, the actual comic book shop in terms of because they were still around even at that time, or you were going to a convention.
Yeah. And to me, I feel like, and a convention guy ain't gonna sell his book to a kid if he knows it's got the wrong themes because he's not like, because comic guys have always been like, our space is a space for kids. We don't want it to be ruined. Kids are supposed to be safe in this space. You read some comic books, you fall in love with the characters, you go along your way. If somebody starts messing with you, then the adults step in, hey, leave the fucking kid alone. And that goes like pick and fight, so on and so forth. The adults take care of the kids in the space because we want the kids to fall in love with these characters and carry this, if you will, hobby throughout the rest of their life.
Yeah.
I got the term from Fiona Wolf. Don't know who that is. But, and I think that's like the whole reason why I say bring. And want to know what's funny? I think Sean even agreed with me on this, if I remember right. He was kind of trepidatious on the idea, but he was kind of like, yeah, I can see what you mean, but I can be down with that. Dang it. Ah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know who that is, guys. You know.
That's funny. You and I are like, I have no clue. Dude, let's be honest. There are some people I look online that are my age and famous, and I'm like, who the hell are you? I have no clue who you are. Like, the only, like, though, uh, apparently Hugh Grant plays the Oompa Loompas in the new Willy Wonka movie.
Yeah.
That was that
Yep.
was unexpected.
Yeah, I thought that was quite hilarious, finding out that he's playing the Oompa Loompa. And there's a lot of people really ticked off.
Dude, because let's be honest, can we just stop trying to remake a Gene Wilder will never be topped. The man gave us the best Willy Wonka we will ever get. And I'm sorry, but pure imagination is literally like, I don't care who you are. You could be the most like anti-musical hating person and you will love pure imagination because the song is that well freaking made. You will never top pure imagination. You will never find a better Willy Wonka. Stop trying.
Stop trying.
Right? Wait. You want me to try and do Batman? I can do Batman. I assure you, I actually have tried plenty of times to do a fairly convincing Batman. I mean,
Yeah. Son of a biscuit cracker. Sorry, guys. My Legion Go decided to act all wonky, and the one display decided to disappear.
oh, lovely. All I gotta say, dude, my Steam Deck doesn't get much love as it should, but at the same time, I also need to get the dock and everything, and no, what I'm the thing I'm actually thinking about is I am thinking about investing in a new projector and just having this one be for straight movies because it's got a low refresh rate, only like 27 hertz, I think. So it sucks for gaming, but I was looking at it. I could get me a projector that's 60 hertz for around like $400, and that one would be a lot better for gaming. But at the same time, man, get one that's also like 4K, dude. Spend like $1,500. I think that would be so freaking worth it. Just because I actually kind of like watching things in 4K, I would actually invest in a like the Ultra HD disc player. Like I'd actually invest in it at that point. Because if I remember right, it's not a regular Blu-ray. It's actually different, right?
What was? I'm sorry. I'm trying to work on this, while you're talking.
I was asking if the Ultra HD, the 4K, I don't remember if that's regular Blu-ray or if you have to get an actual player that supports it.
You have to get an actual player that supports it.
I thought so. I was like, wait a second. Brain's a herpaderpin. Herpaderpaderpin. Because, yeah. Bro, what can I say? It's getting close to my bedtime. I'm normally, like, out cold by now.
Yeah. And we can wrap it up. So, I really don't have anything else to say. I mean, Sean was, I think we kind of...
it's still freaking kicking the boy bags, man.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it is big time. If you guys ever get a chance, those if you're listening later and stuff like that, or if you want to, if you want to check out Ferryman, you can reach out to me. I can hook you up with some I have both digital copies, so I'd be definitely more than willing to help out there.
If nothing else, just to keep the memory of Sean alive, because that is. Like I said, big kick in the nuts. And what a lot of people don't realize is when we say we all thought he was just working on Ferryman, He was just gone silent, was trying to keep his head down, get work done. Because that's what Sean did with Ferryman too. He disappeared for a little bit and came back up. Ferryman 2's written, doing some other stuff too. Check this out.
Yep.
Okay. No, that's what makes this so hard. Is he literally like in the build up? Because if I remember right, he had been saying in like the build up in private chat, "Hey, I'm gonna be disappearing for a bit, working on something," and then so when he disappeared, no one thought anything about it. Because he like that's what he was doing. But Lord said it was time.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, but definitely, I recommend you guys, seriously, if you haven't got a chance to read it, definitely reach out to us and I'll get you a copy. At at Dead Moon D is my Twitter handle. Feel free to send me a friend request if you're listening later and you want to check it out. I really, 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 I can't understate how well Ferryman was written for both issues.
Oh,
and you'll see. It's a shame we didn't get the third one, but I think the payoff, because I know he was only doing it as a short series.
Yeah, I think issue 3 was supposed to be the final one. I thought.
Yep.
Like, that was the other reason why I wasn't so stressed about getting issue 2, because I wanted to get the whole thing, because the way that issue 1 ended, I was not about to have another cliffhanger ending and be like, ah! Like,
yeah. All right, I guess we're going to wrap it up here.
Alrighty, well, Chuck, where can people find you?
So yeah, you guys can follow me on my YouTube channel at Volt Chaos 1975. I'm hoping to. I'm going to announce we are going to get Josh Howard from Dead at 17 and T-Bird and Throttle. I'm working on him. We're going to be working with him on setting up a date. He's got a new campaign coming out here for Dead at 17. Another great series I highly recommend. His art takes a lot of homage from...
he definitely does the Bruce Timm style without being Bruce Timm.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of made his own version of that art style. And
it really works.
And once again, like Sean Campbell, Josh Howard has created two great universes. Dead at 17 and T-Bird and Throttle. Where T-Bird and Throttle was great, and both Josh and I both agree. I mean, yeah. Me and Bob, yes, his real name is Josh.
Yeah, that's why it's so funny, because like my Facebook that I tell everyone to follow is under my real name, and it's like, it's because Bob Jones is technically the character, but I still have fun with him.
Mm-hmm. Which is why, because we all have common, like there's a lot of Joshes we know, which is why we call Bob, Josh, Bob, because we know Josh Howard, we know Josh. There's like 4 or 5 different Joshes.
There was Ninja Josh, and there's like, and my original handle was Bob Dolebot, which is actually still my gaming handle, because Bob Dole was a robot, and I don't care that anyone says that man literally was a robot. But and was grossly, like, I still say Ross Perot was not the spoiler for Bob Dole. Bob Dole was the spoiler for Ross Perot. I stand by that. But and then the whole like Alex Jones comic book-esque character, but Bob Jones.
So we're gonna he's got a campaign coming here, and we're gonna get him on the channel. So Josh is a longtime friend of both of our channels.
Mm-hmm.
Josh is probably another great guy in the indie community. Everybody should follow. So it's at Josh Howard. I gotta arrange a date for him. It's probably gonna be a Friday night again, like we normally like to do. But yeah. So that's going to be on my channel, but at Volt Chaos 1975. If you are looking for Twits or the X Cloud, formerly known as Twitter. Yeah, it's at DeadMoonD. Facebook, I don't really follow there. Instagram, it's Dead Moon Detectives. So, anyhow,
Word. And as always, America, you can follow me on the Twitters at Bob Jones at Brainiac 420. You'll find me as Bob Jones, unofficial Batman fanboy. Yeah, I'm proud of that one. And on the Facebook, you can find me under my real name, Joshua Cannon. Like, definitely give me a follow there. I don't really accept friend requests, but definitely always down for follows. And then on the Rumble, you can find me at a nerd and over 30. So, oh yeah, and you can find me on Instagram at Bob Jones Comic Wars. Almost forgot about my Instagram. Poor Instagram always gets forgotten.
yeah, thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate those who were able to, celebrate. We have a lot more. Brian was hoping to make it, and a few others, but unfortunately they were unable to. Maybe we might do another tribute down the road here
When everybody can truly make it,
yeah,
but unfortunately with Brian, he's, let's just say, on the other side of the planet right now, and
yep.
that makes things a little bit
He protecting America.
right.
He getting that America freedom.
He the thing about Brian Ball is he's definitely one of the guys that are keeping comic books soy free. Mainly because of the fact that when he sees a fifth dimensional alien or a reticuloid, he just goes, I know what to do about you, and shoves pure high tea down their throat.
Yep. All right. But so.
All right,
All right,
folks.
guys, have a great night.